and the snow. It is really going to be a pretty thin line of snowfall, just maybe a few hundred miles at the most here, and it will
we can
mix
change
with
that.
rain at times. All of it is going to be rain, we think, from, say, Richmond back to Roanoke southward.
What you looking at is water.
D.C. initially rain. Then, when the cooler air gets in here, we'll see that turn over into snow. New York City probably going to pick up some of that snowfall, as will Philadelphia. And we might even see a few snow showers there around Hartford, Providence, and Boston, though very little in the way of accumulation.
Well, New England
State's
State's
this is the kind of accumulation we're
they're
talking
going to
about.
have a lot of water.
It's not going to be a deja vu for New
Because we need a lot of
3 to 6 inches is about all we're going to get here into some of the higher elevations of West Virginia.
That's the reason for all the water.
Pennsylvania, north of
That's
Washington,
what the
D.C.
snow
and
is for.
Maryland, 1 to 3 inches of
To bring
accumulating
water.
snowfall. We'll probably see maybe an inch or 2 there around New York City, maybe an inch to 3 inches out toward Long Island and the southern areas here of Connecticut, and
The
on
plan
into
is
Rhode Island and out toward Cape Cod.
cause
Boston,
flooding.
don't look for a lot of accumulation
Massive
this time
flooding.
around, and that's probably a good thing for most of us, all right?
That's what it's going to
Philadelphia,
be.
This afternoon, periods of rain with rain
See?
and snow mixing.
Water,
in
water,
later on.
water, water,
High
water.
temperatures should be around 45 degrees, and tonight
Water, water,
we're
water,
going to see
water,
that
water,
rain
water,
and
water.
snow turned to
Look at it.
all snow, and 1 to 3 inches being accumulated there, with lows right around the freezing mark. So it
Water,
won't be,
water, water,
you know,
water,
this
water.
fine powdery
See the
snow.
melting
It's going to be
snow?
kind of wet.
That's
All right?
what you need to
Then
worry about.
The sky becomes partly cloudy as we head into tomorrow. We'll see that snow begin to melt, and those high temperatures will be around 47 degrees, and so it's not going to take too very long for it to melt during the day. All right, so we still have a lot of snow left to melt, though, around portions of the Northeast. We're going to get a little bit of layered on top of some of that area.
And more
but
coming.
Not
More
many
to come.
places toward the north are going to see it. Vivian?
All right, well, let's talk more because parts of the Northeast are still trying to get back on track after Winter Storm Nemo dumped record amounts of snow on the region. Here is the latest now on Winter Storm Nemo. Massachusetts, the only state to report a significant number of power outages from the powerful storm. At its peak now, about 660,000 customers were without electricity in the Northeast. That number is down about 6,000. And in Rhode Island, the call goes out for volunteers to help elderly and disabled neighbors remove snow from their sidewalks and driveways. And the United Way is asking everyone in good condition to grab a shovel. And finally, you know, once the historic blizzard left the U.S., it crossed the Big Pond and pounded England and Scotland. In fact, central Scotland reports the heaviest snowfall of the winter. After 4 days and a lot of frustration, plows are clearing snow-packed streets in parts of Long Island. Residents of a Long Island community took matters into their own hands before the plows arrived, pushing neighbors' cars and plowing snow-packed streets themselves. Snow gear finally reached the town yesterday. Meanwhile, in Connecticut, the governor, Dan Malloy, says the damage from Winter Storm Nemo was extensive.
With respect to collapsed buildings, we're up to 120 agricultural buildings at this point, and that's a self-reporting mechanism, so that those are going to come in for a period of time. Coops was the number 1, greenhouses was the number 2, and barns were the number 3 in that category.
All right, we're happy to say that Nemo is no longer, but we're watching another system. This is a Clipper system. It'll bring some significant snows across parts of the northern plains, the Great Lakes, and eventually the Northeast. You can see the central parts of North Dakota from Bismarck all the way to near Fargo. We have swaths of some pretty heavy snow right now. In fact, that's what it looked like on the radar, but this is what it actually looks like in Bowdoin, North Dakota. This is just north and east of the Bismarck area. So more snow on top of what has already fallen.
Water
As
is
can
what
see,
you.
quite a bit has
It's not
fallen.
snow.
So
It's
here
water.
is the Clipper system today.
Okay, more
Watch
water.
it over the next
More
24 hours.
precipitation.
Slide across the Great
That's what we're
Lakes
here
here,
with. This is
bringing
what we're dealing
significant
with.
snow across the Upper Peninsula, the northern parts of the Lower Peninsula, and then eventually making its way across upstate New York into the Green, the White Mountains of Vermont.
That's right. That's what you need to be talking about. Up into the mountains. Now you're talking,
and again,
baby.
it could dump some pretty significant amounts there. You
But
see
yeah,
the
mud.
3 to 6
Dump some mud. That's what's going to be
additional
dumped.
snow
All right,
from
yes.
North
It's going to
Dakota
be some pretty
into
good
northern
amounts of
Minnesota
mud
and skirting right
and soil
across Wisconsin,
dumped
and there you see
on
the
all
Upper
of
Peninsula of
that
Michigan.
New England
6 to
Upper
12
Peninsula
inches
shit.
are possible from this next Clipper
Feel me
system
on
we're
that.
watching as it swings across the region. A lot of cold air will be associated with it as well, and we'll have more details on
all
that.
the mountain areas.
Nick?
Well, meantime, you're going to have to just bear with it in the
Even
south. The heavy rain,
upstate New York,
are flooding
as well as Michigan.
the area, and it's going to
This
be
is
with
what
us
I'm
all
after
along.
that.
We'll tell you how
That's what's
long.
going to
Coming
do
up
it. The
next
water
on
is
Big
going to tear y'all asses up.
Morning, people. What's on the agenda?
Hello.
Yep.
At 7, you'll
This
arrive
way.
at my toll booth with no change.
And it'll spread into the northeast, unfortunately, on areas that are already, of course, digging out from Nemo.
Look where it's going. It's just coming down, tearing your ass up. Oh, this is cold-blooded.
So unfortunately, more snow for you.
Ooh, it's
Notice
bad.
how the jet stream takes a little dive here. So we're pushing this system very quickly to the mid-Atlantic and then
See, that's going to turn into some serious
Another little
spirals.
system kind of swings across the Great Lakes, and it will provide more snow for parts of the Great Lakes area and certainly those snow belt regions. And then we'll watch another little impulse on the tail end of this system create snow showers over the northern and central Rockies. So that's a look at the big weather picture. Let's check out the focus forecast when we focus on one particular area. This hour, we're going to the D.C. vicinity where we have fair skies, but clouds will be on the increase again as we watch that fast-moving Clipper system kind of swing toward the mid-Atlantic. You can see D.C., we have 54 degrees right now, so the air is pretty mild, in fact. And as we look at the overall conditions, again, generally rain perhaps for you as the system swings through later in the day today. And then tomorrow into the weekend, we'll notice this system swing northward along with the next little Clipper system swinging in and coming in from the west. So here's a look at the forecast for the weekend. D.C. staying in the low 40s, and that's about average for you this time of year. In fact, here's a look at the extended forecast. We talk about a fair amount of sunshine tomorrow as the system is a fast-moving one. And then on Friday, look at the temperature, 56 degrees, and then we'll get a little chillier as we work toward the latter part of the weekend. Now, let's go back to you, Mark.
Thanks, Vivian. Let's go back to the State of the Union address. President Barack Obama is bringing the issues of clean energy and climate change to the center stage. In his State of the Union address last night, President Obama explained where the issues stand in his second-term agenda.
We can choose to believe that Superstorm Sandy and the most severe drought in decades and the worst wildfires some states have ever seen were all just a freak coincidence. Or we can choose to believe in the overwhelming judgment of science and act before it's too late.
Or you can believe that Assar is telling you that it's Judgment Day and you better get your shit together.
I urge this Congress to get together, pursue a bipartisan market-based solution to climate change.
They can't do
Like
it.
the one John McCain and Joe Lieberman worked on together.
They're not smarter than the UFOs.
But if Congress won't act soon to protect future generations, I will. I will direct my cabinet to come up with executive actions we can take now and in the future to reduce pollution, prepare our communities for the consequences of climate change, and speed the transition to more sustainable sources of energy.
You heard the president
Okay, yeah.
reference economic growth. Well,
No, that's good, because you know what?
At
At least he said that. We're going to see. We're going to
can
see.
drive
I can't
economic
believe he
growth.
said that. He
You know,
said a
we're
mouthful. Y'all all heard his
following
ass.
as well.
Now, that was
We
some
have the
shit
homepage
your
here.
ass
We've
just
got
said,
lots of
Obama.
stories that we're watching.
You
Of
said
course,
some
a
good
lot of
stuff.
people
Now,
still
that
asking
is the
about
type of
the
stuff the
bill. One of
president
top
should be
stories that we've
saying.
got, it says
He didn't come
more
out
snow all
promising
the
no
way from the
jobs.
east. You can click
None of
into
that
this and
shit. You know
see
why?
just
Because
what
if
we're
he's serious
expecting
about
with our
changing
forecast here.
the
You can
frickin'
also see
environment,
what we're expecting for Saturday,
that alone
and
will create
continuing on
jobs
to possibly
by
what's
itself.
next as we track into the weekend. The good news
So
is
I
the snow
shut
we're
my
in
ass up and we'll
is gonna
see.
be pretty far off the coast, so it
That's a
doesn't look
big
like
ass
it's going to be
promise,
too
but it's a
big
good
deal.
promise.
Back on the homepage, the main story is all about
Good
space
damn
weather. A lot of you ask about that. We've got a story about tracking the near-Earth asteroids and how NASA actually can't monitor all of them because there's a lot out there. We don't know them all yet. So a story worth a read. Nick, over to you.
Well, you know, they don't need any more, but more snow is on the way. We're talking about the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. Coming up on Day Planner, places plagued by Winter Storm Nemo are gearing up to get some fresh flakes. We'll track today's snowmaker heading into the Northeast.
Weight Watchers Online worked for us.
We don't argue much.
We really
Peace and
don't.
blessings.
I usually just get...
Sandwiched between Lake Michigan and downtown Chicago, Lakeshore Drive carries thousands of vehicles through the city daily. But on February 1st, 2011, northbound traffic ground to an unprecedented halt as Chicago was hit by a massive blizzard.
All I could see around me was car after car covered
completely covered in snow.
Whiteout conditions cause backups before near hurricane-force wind gusts piled snow on the stalled traffic. Lonnie Washington was trapped for hours before being rescued. His car was one of more than 500 vehicles stranded on Lakeshore Drive.
I've been stuck out here going on 10 hours. I actually feared for my life. As soon as I was rescued, I felt joy that I haven't felt in like my entire life.
Blocked on-ramps and no turnarounds made getting emergency vehicles to the scene nearly impossible. Today, the city has responded positively to the problem, cutting 2 large access points in the median.
When we're anticipating a heavy snowfall, we remove those cutaways. So if we have an accident or if we have some other traffic emergency on North Lakeshore Drive, we're able to divert that traffic. That allows our snowplows to get in there and clear that roadway a little faster.
16 remote-controlled cameras, along with high-tech road sensors, have also been added.
Those cameras tell us the rate of snow that's coming down. We're able to actually see how the traffic is moving. We're able to back that up with the information from ground sensors, so we know the temperature as well as the condition of the road. That helps us to better deploy your equipment. Where do you need your equipment and how soon you need to put it there.
Lonnie Washington believes these improvements to Lakeshore Drive will mean a smoother ride home in future snowstorms.
I think the city has done an excellent job trying to mitigate the possibility of this happening again. I know they want to protect us as much as possible.
Well, we've got still another dose of snow that's moving into the northeast tonight. Our storm specialist, Dr. Greg Postel, is tracking the system. Greg?
Yeah, that's right, Nick. Right now, it's over the parts of the Ohio Valley, snowing in Louisville and Covington. It is heading toward the northeast. We'll track that for you and tell you exactly how much to expect and when I come back at the top of the hour, the bottom of the hour, excuse me. Nick, back to you.
Hey, and this same system has a rainy, possibly severe side as well. That story.
Yeah, he works for me.
After the Storm was brought to you by Servpro, the fire and water cleanup and restoration specialists.
Winter 2011. Heavy snowfall and extreme winds whip up a blockbuster blizzard that brings Chicago to a standstill. But Servpro never stops, serving families and restoring properties across the Windy City. Servpro, here in your community, here to help.
I don't know how it happened, but it's okay. We're ready.
When the things that matter most are on the line, make sure we are too. The fire and water cleanup team at 1-800-SERVPRO.
See, they got some good commercials. I was puzzled because I can't believe they showed you that picture of Chicago, Lakeshore Drive, with only one side of traffic being caught in that storm. When I showed you footage that it was obvious to see that traffic going both ways was stuck in that snow, you could obviously see that there was one side that had been recently plowed. And I was just so shocked at that I sat here in disgust, and I actually started concentrating and trying to come up with why would they try to fabricate that it was only one side of that road that traffic got stalled in. When we all saw the windshield wipers blow up and every damn thing, it was obvious that that whole city got shut down. See, the ignorance that I was talking about, they displayed in that whole issue of occurrence. The whole dynamics around it showed nothing but greed and stupidity. So now the consciousness of that ignorance is trying to make that whole occurrence be not as grand scale as it was. I bet you that was the whole damn city, not just that one street. That whole city shut down. I'm sure of it. And so, I didn't really want to just stop the camera. Because, commercials show you just how ignorance is spread here also. Because you don't have to do all that to, people can do what they want. What I'm getting at is this, the mind concepts of people, it's manipulated so much that you can see how commercial, this is what I'm saying, this Crest commercial right here, got right to the point. See, I gotta clean my teeth, here goes Crest, something simple, little cute lady brushing her teeth, boom, done deal. That's what a commercial's supposed to be. She's at the dentist talking about teeth, brilliant, smart, this is a commercial.